Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. I hope you are ready for this video because, oh boy, it appears as if Adam Aron has just dropped what I would call a bombshell on AMC stock investors. We'll explain why and the significance of this in this video. On top of that, we will discuss what's going on with AMC stock today. AMC stock is down 2.62%. I do have to be a little bit quiet because the 8-month-old boy over there is sleeping and he is teething, so I don't want to wake the beast, and let's hope that does not happen. So yeah, we have a lot to get into here in this video. We did have some data come out this morning that I think you should also know. It's kind of keeping our markets muted. The markets want to rally, but we do have some earnings today and after hours as well that will be very important. And then obviously the Fed tomorrow is going to be a big deal. So hit that like button as well as subscribe to the channel. Let me know what you think about this information down below in the comment section. So let's start with the bombshell that I believe Adam Aron just dropped on our markets, or specifically with AMC. This article says AMC stock. Adam Aron says that Hollywood strikes ruined the early 2024 box office. And Eddie Pan with Investor Place, he tends to be pretty negative on AMC. He says AMC stock will need a lot more than popcorn and chocolate to recover. He goes on to say, right here, Adam Aron. Media scoffed at my embed tweet. That was the last tweet where he talked about AMC stock. He says, but it's all true. AMC's share price is so frustrating. The 2023 actors-writers strikes have ruined the early 2024 box office. Almost all I think about is rebuilding AMC. But AMC based in Kansas City since 1920, so how about those Chiefs? Yeah, that was an interesting game for sure. But what about this is a bombshell necessarily? And I know that's up for interpretation. I know some people are going to, hate the title of this video, but I think it's a very important one. Because Adam Aron says AMC's share price is so frustrating. Now, why is that frustrating? Two things that come to mind that's going on right now. Adam Aron believes, for whatever diluted reason, that AMC stock is where it is because of the box office. Now, the box office lull that we are in right now does not help. The fact that we do not have blockbusters heading to the movie theaters does not help AMC stock. It's hurting AMC. That is obvious. We can all agree on that. But the biggest thing that's been hurting AMC stock is all of the dilution. It appears to me Adam Aron is frustrated about where AMC stock is. Not because AMC stock is $4 and some change. No, Adam Aron is frustrated because AMC stock is $4 and some change, because that means AMC will not survive in the $4 range. Adam Aron needs AMC stock to be higher to raise capital, because if AMC cannot sell stock for a reasonable sum of money, then AMC is going to have a very hard time paying off their debts. Let's just imagine this for a moment, right? Let's say AMC comes out tomorrow and they say they're going to raise 40 million shares of capital. Let's say AMC stock's $4.16 per share. Let's say AMC is able to secure 40 million shares being sold at $4 per share. That would only bring in $160 million. It's not enough to move the needle on AMC's debt. Now, this might sound negative to a lot of unsophisticated, smooth-brained investors, but let me break this down in a little more simple terms. Adam Aron is now forced to prioritize AMC stock and cause to essentially make the stock go higher. That is his number one job right now. So essentially, let's make this even more simple so everyone can fully understand this. Again, I might say these things like AMC will not survive. That's just being realistic. Do I think AMC will survive? Absolutely. Do I think this pressure is good for AMC stock? Of course, because again, AMC needs the stock to be higher. The AMC, as of the company, Adam Aron needs AMC stock to go up, to go higher from here, or they will not survive. Adam Aron's only priority right now is to work for you to get the share price up higher. Unfortunately, he is frustrated because he cannot just dilute shareholders to oblivion anymore. He has to focus on an equitable return from here for AMC stock investors. So this is fantastic. This is fantastic news to me. The fact that he is openly saying he is frustrated with where AMC stock is currently at, because that means good things are likely coming. That means, in my opinion, we're going to get a commitment for a period of no dilution. And a period of no dilution is really the only lever that Adam Aron can pull at this point. If the business is not performing because of issues that are outside of their control, like no movies going to theaters, not much Adam Aron can do about that. Adam Aron can indeed say, hey, markets, we're not going to be diluting shareholders for a period of time. We might dilute in the future, but not right now. If that didn't cause AMC stock to rally like 100% from here, if that didn't cause AMC stock to go from $4 to $8 or $10 per share, then we have major problems on our hands. Then, yeah, this would be a totally different video. But I do think this potentially sets you up for a multi-100%, rally, because Adam Aron's coming to the conclusion they're not going to be able to dilute shareholders for a period of time, because if they do now, if you dilute shareholders in this example, 40 million shares at $4 per share, you raise $160 million. Who freaking cares? AMC stock's going to go to $2 per share. And then you're never going to get the stock up from there. So, yeah, I think this is fantastic news, and hopefully you guys see that as well. Now, this article goes on to say, AMC stock, Adam Aron says the Hollywood strikes ruined the early 2024 box office. The Beekeeper is currently the highest grossing film of 2024, bringing in $104.18 million globally and $42.28 million in the U.S. Mean Girls trails behind with a global box office of $83.4 million and a domestic box office of $60.8 million. For perspective, Barbie led the 2023 box office with global sales of $1.44 billion and domestic sales of $636 million. So, I mean, just for context, like, these movies are doing 1/10 of what Barbie did, right? For Mean Girls in the domestic box office, Barbie was literally 10 times larger than Mean Girls or some of the movies that are hitting theaters right now. It says another issue that has plagued AMC stock is dilution in order to pay down debt. On December 11th, AMC disclosed that it had completed a $350 million at-the-market offering through the sale of approximately 48 million shares. However, the company issued another 4.75 million shares from December 12th through the 14th in exchange for $36 million in principal value of its 10 and 12% cash payment in kind PIK Tugel second lien subordinated notes due in 2026. On December 19th, AMC disclosed that it would issue another 3.34 million shares in exchange for $25 million in principal value of its 2026 notes. So as you can see from AMC's recent actions, it's all about that massive sum of debt that comes due in 2026. That is what AMC is focused on right now, and I think that's what they will continue to be focused on. And once that 2026 debt burden gets out of the way, via likely a period of no dilution followed by lots of dilution to be able to, meet those requirements, that is, that from now until then, I think AMC stock likely does perform well. Now, if we take a look at sentiment today from investors, and we're going to look at this on StockTwits, you can see sentiment today is actually extremely bullish at 95 out of 100. So that is some pretty good news. Message volume is at 46, so it's categorized as normal. And the participation ratio is at 47. Now, the participation ratio measures the number of unique accounts posting on a stream relative to the number of total messages on that stream. So what that means is, if, say you have 10 people, right? Or I guess 10 messages, If that's made up by one person, participation ratio is going to be really low. Whereas if you have 10 messages created by 10 different people, participation ratio is going to be higher. So the higher you see the participation ratio, the better off things are likely to be. The more people that are actually looking at AMC, that are talking about AMC. And that's ultimately what you want, is people in general talking about AMC. Now, here on the day today, had a lot of data out of Europe, and most of the data came in not so great. A lot of your GDP data came in not so great. The Eurozone, GDP in general for the Eurozone came in a little bit better than expected. Quarter over quarter came in at 0%, so stagnated instead of negative growth. And GDP growth rate year over year came in at 0.1%, so a little bit better than the 0% estimate as well. Now, JOLTS job openings today jumped quite a bit. They jumped from 8.92 million to 9.02 million. Estimate was 8.75 million. So about 250,000 or so jobs more than what was expected. That did cause a little bit of that bearish sentiment today in the markets. But CB consumer confidence came in on the higher end side from 108 last month to 114.8 this month. And then Dallas Fed Services Index came in a little bit worse than expectations at negative 9.3. And Dallas Fed Services revenues came in at negative 3.6, which was quite a bit worse than the positive 3 we were expecting for that number. So that is the data today. Tomorrow is really all going to be about the Fed, but today and after hours, it's going to be about earnings. So today and after hours, you have Microsoft, AMD, Alphabet, Starbucks, Skyworks, Juniper Networks, Match Group, Lending Club, Electronic Arts, EA Sports, to the game, right? That company, and CB. Now, Microsoft is the most important big tech name that we will have reporting earnings, because Microsoft's going to set the tone for not just Magnificent Seven, but AI names, even potentially semiconductors, are going to react to anything Microsoft says. I actually seen something that was pretty interesting. I did it on my phone first. Let's see if I can actually pull it up here. It's the Copilot. Microsoft, it's all about AI right now. And what I seen on my phone, at least, was interesting. Okay, so this says something different. This actually looks pretty good, decent, I guess. Not a lot of search activity, though, in different areas: California, Washington, Texas, Florida, New York, right? Illinois. You're seeing some activity here. Let's see. Is it this? Yeah, this chart. Microsoft Copilot. And it's like, that's the only thing it seems like Wall Street cares about in regards to Microsoft earnings. And this product launched for consumers instead of just corporates in November. So exactly when you spiked. Look at that. I've never seen this before in Google Trends activity. Like, I've literally never seen this before. I don't know what to make of this. And as you can see with this, you do have search trend activity in the entirety of the US. So this one looks more accurate to me. I mean, I don't know what to make about that fall. I've, like I said, never seen that before. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. Microsoft stock today as well is not doing a whole lot of much. I guess the markets are really not doing much of anything. So who knows exactly, but Microsoft has definitely been on a rally recently with an RSI of almost 79. I can't say you're set up in an optimal position heading into earnings. This is expected to be Microsoft's highest quarter of revenue ever in the history of the company, around $61 billion as well. So that is definitely something to be watching for as well. Expectations overall are pretty dang high. Other than that, your Wednesday tomorrow, kind of on the slower side as far as earnings. Thermo Fisher, Boston Scientific, MasterCard, Roper Technologies, Phillips 66, Novo Nordisk, and Boeing that report tomorrow pre-market. After hours, you have Qualcomm that will affect Apple, but Apple will report Thursday, and after hours, Amazon, Meta. Tomorrow, I'm pretty dang bullish around the Fed. We'll talk about that a little bit more in the next video because I think that's so important. It really deserves its own video, let's be honest. Now, 10 2-year yield curve inversion. You're still inverted 21 basis points. That could change coming tomorrow. So we'll talk about that more in the next video. 10-year treasury yields today appears as if we're down about 1.5 basis points today. If you look at TLT, TLT is up 0.38% at the time of recording this video. Yeah, TLT could actually pop as well coming tomorrow and potentially due to the Fed and a specific action that I think the Fed is going to take tomorrow, which could prove to be pretty dang bullish for a stock like AMC. Now, stock O-Tracker data, as we can currently see it, 7,000 calls currently in the money, out the money calls at 69,000, in the money puts at 18,000, out the money puts at 23,000. Ortex data for AMC stock, about $56,000 worth of hedge fund institutional activity in the options market so far, with a positive order value of 0%. Call activity as well, a little bit on the lighter side as well. You can see volume of 54.82 to the call side and 45.18% to the put side. If we take a look at the short interest percentage of free float, you're rising yet again today to 10.97%. You've went from a low of about 7% now to 11%. Now, I don't really care about this number. Let's be honest. I think the short interest is 200+%. But I will tell you, when people are looking at AMC, when people are looking at, making a trade in AMC for a potential short squeeze or a continued rally, people are going to look at this number and say, is the stock heavily shorted? Is it not? And that will help influence whether or not people jump into a trade on AMC when the stock does have a crazy big day. And I know it's been a long time since we've had a crazy big day, like 5, 10, 15%, 20% day. It will happen again, right? That is almost with a definitive. Who knows? Maybe not. There's always a possibility that that does not happen ever again. I think that would be highly unlikely that we never see another big day for AMC stock ever again. So I think that's important in the meantime, that short interest does rise so people can, see that and ultimately jump into AMC stock again when that moment does arise. Now, I do also want to point out the markets are in a very vulnerable position as of right now. If you do start to see like some kind of black swan event, I've heard people talk about this, and I just want to point it out because the markets are pretty vulnerable right now. Now, the Middle East situation, could that have some form of black swan potential implications? It could. We're talking about potentially like attacking Iran and some facilities right in the Middle East due to the the situation that killed 3 U.S. service members in Jordan. That could come any moment now. Now, if Iran wanted to, they could cut off the Strait of Hormuz. About 20% of the world's or 60%, some crazy high number, a number that is uncomfortably large. Supply of the world's oil flows through there every single day. If that were to happen, that could have a financial implication to our markets, to inflation, and that would be a big problem. So that's definitely something I'm looking for, watching for as of right now. If we did see some form of, black swan event, that would obviously be bad news for our markets. And I do think you're specifically vulnerable for that as of right now. Something else I want to point out that we'll talk about more in the next video is XLF. This is the ETF for the banking sector, financial sector. And this thing is hitting a new not all-time high, pretty close to an all-time high, but a new 52-week high heading into Powell tomorrow. I think the writing is on the wall for what could be a pretty exciting day tomorrow. Obviously, it depends how Microsoft and Google report their earnings, but nonetheless, it's going to be pretty dang exciting. Let me know what you think about this information down below in the comment section. Again, AMC stock is down 1.32% to $4.22 per share. Could be worse today. You're not hitting a new all-time low. You're getting another big downward wick, if you will. So it looks like you kind of fell in the beginning of trading. You're starting to retrace. What happens towards the end of the day could be important for what is to come next with AMC. AMC stock is also now no longer oversold on the RSI. You're still on the oversold side, but you're not under 30 anymore. You're at 30.27, so that could lead to a larger upside move. Let me know what you think about this information down below in the comment section. Hit the like button as well as subscribe to the channel. You guys have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.